Welcome back to your channel. My name is Brad, and today we're going to look at GIAX, SPYI, QQQI, IWMI. Where are their calls? We're going to look at Yieldmax LFGY. I left timestamps down below. And will Brad actually be buying a Yieldmax fund as a long-term hold? Not something I'm just getting in and out of. We'll discuss that. If that's what you're looking for, stay tuned. Well, let's look at the calls. QQQI and GIAX on the NDX. QQQI does not rotate these out until the 1st of February. So you're only going to see where they are from calls that they made at the beginning of January. And you can see that we're well below their first strike price. But GIAX yesterday, or last night, put the call on the NDX, which is the NASDAQ, right at the money with a very, very small gap. And we're already above that gap. At least when filming or when I took the screenshot, we were already above that gap. So any gains on that strike will be contributed to the NAV. So good job on that one so far. If I look at the SPX, on the other hand, and this is going to be for SPYI, and again for GIAX, for SPYI, we're well below those strike prices. We have plenty of room over the next 2 weeks for the price to go up without getting any cap whatsoever. GIAX, on the other hand, at the time that I took the screenshot, when they wrote their calls, it is close to being already out. That's where they are. So you're going to see a slight difference in pricing right now because they're not out of SPX. Just to give you a perspective here, so I used to draw 2 lines. Now I draw a box. The bottom of the box is the first strike. The top of the box is the strike that they purchased. So once we get above that, we'll see capital appreciation. They're still getting that 0.5% per week with these calls. That's really good because if we have a run, and I got a feeling that we're going to have some sideways movement, we'll see some capital appreciation this week. Now for IWMI, the Russell has been taking a real hit. And again, GIAX wrote on the Russell. So they wrote on all 3 indexes this week. They've done the last couple weeks. So IWMI is well below their strike prices. We have a long time to go before we hit their strike prices, and that's really good. For GIAX, when I took the screenshot this morning, after putting their calls on, we're already past. We're already outside of that box, so we're going to start seeing capital appreciation as long as we stay above that box. I will say, so far, I like them. I like being outside of the box, either below or above. And right now we're only inside the box on one of theirs. So we're good at that. Let's talk about this new fund from Yieldmax. And I will go ahead and do full disclosure right at the beginning. And I will be purchasing as a long-term hold. I know everybody has just, you can now get up off the ground. I can understand that maybe you didn't think that I would ever do this with a Yieldmax fund, but one thing that I'm going to point out right at the beginning, they opened this up as a Yieldmax portfolio ETF. This does not fall into any of the other categories. So maybe Yieldmax is starting to think about the retirement people, because they came out with their target 12, and so far those have actually done better than I thought in the beginning, and I'm going to hand it to them. The target 12, if you're a Yieldmax fan and you are going to be doing retirement, you might really want to consider the target 12. Not financial advice or legal advice or any other advice, but target 12 are doing well. This new Yieldmax portfolio ETF, I'm sitting there going, I like what I've seen so far. So what is LFGY going to do? They're going to buy 15 to 30 cryptocurrency, crypto technology companies, all right? And they're going to generate income. All right, so far, okay, got it. That's a typical yield max for you. They're going to generate a lot of income for you because that's what yield max, get it? Yield max does for you. But the next step is they say seeks capital appreciation. Ooh, wait a second. Capital appreciation. You don't hear that from yield max very often. But let's go ahead and go with it. They're going to look for capital appreciation with implement option strategies. Option strategies, not just cover calls, but strategies. They also plan for this to be a weekly. Oh, I think they mistyped. And I'm going to show you why I think they mistyped. But hey, maybe they can make this weekly somehow. I don't know what they're going to do. But they're going to do weekly distributions. And when I say weekly, I'm going to go with they pretty much do what they say they're going to do. So why invest? Hey, it's going to generate income and we're going to have potential share price gains. Nothing is ever guaranteed. But first of all, let's look at what they got. That's really what it comes down to. What did they put in here? Applied Digital Corporation, BitDeer Technologies, Canon. For those that don't know, my little Bitcoin miner, that is who makes it, Canon. Cypher, CleanSpark, Coinbase, Core Scientific, Hive, we've got Robinhood, Hut8. Hold up, time out. Did IBIT? And notice this is not a synthetic. Wait a second, not a synthetic. They're actually holding Bitcoin. We're good with this. But notice on that Bitcoin, they also have a call and they put a put. Oh, but on that, notice that they didn't sell it till February. That's the problem. I say, hey, how are you going to do weekly distributions when you're doing call options a month and a half in advance? Just throw it out for conversation. Marathon, got it. MELI. Don't know that one actually. I'm going to say pass. Don't know it. I'm going to have to look at it before I actually put a whole lot of money into this. MicroStrategy. All right. We know MicroStrategy. We're good there. NU Holdings, which is, we know that one. It's out of the Cayman Islands. NVIDIA supplies. NVIDIA makes it, but NVIDIA makes every portfolio anymore. OPRA, sure, why not? Riot, another mining company. Block, which is Square. We get it. We get all the holdings. This is a lot of holdings, a lot of miners, some crypto enablers, and they hold the underlying. I repeat, they hold the underlying. So that is what Brad likes. One thing that you notice, if you may or may not notice when I walked through those, they did not write strikes and calls against all the holdings. They did not. Some of those had 0 calls written against them. So interesting prospect when they write 0 calls. And there's opportunity to write calls. Now, will they write calls in the future? Sure, why not? That's probably how they're figuring out how they're going to pay you weekly. Stagger some calls. I don't know. That's speculation. But at the end of the day, I think we can have something for a long-term hold. Not very much. Very small percentage. Put this into my alternative. But I think this is something to look at. Let's look at where their strikes are compared to being out of the money. So when we looked at some of these strikes, they're 15, 16, 17. Now on Coinbase, they went ahead and did a call spread. So they were right at the money and they did the call spread. Got it. Core Scientific, almost 3.5, 11% on Hut8. I was a big Hut8 holder. They are getting new miners. If you're not staying up on Hut8, they're out of Canada. They actually own, that's the better part, They own the power company. Well, it's kind of, sort of. They bought actual power up in Canada. So they're generating their own electricity. They're not buying it from somebody else. That's another interesting one. So we look at these strikes again, and Marathon is 16% out of the money. MSTR is 5% out of the money. So you can go down and look at these. 14, 15. Square's a little close at 1%, but all their strikes are significantly out of the money or in the money. So that makes it an interesting process. Now, I'm only going to buy a small portion, less than my BTCI, hold it in my alternatives, and I'm going to use my 8%, and I will be taking 8% out of this fund. 100%. I am living on these funds. These are not speculation of anything else, but I am going to be living on 8% withdrawals. And that's 8% annually for those newcomers. So I do the math and do an 8% annually. I've updated for all the members the Excel spreadsheet with the live holdings. Yes, live holdings. They see exactly when I purchase something, what price I purchased it, when I purchase it. They see the current price. They see all the pricing. They see exactly what the portfolio is doing up and down. And it's all in Google Sheets, and they can go look at it and see how things are moving. And no, one thing is I'm doing this with 5 different accounts, so I gotta consolidate everything in, because I have my Roth, my rollover Roth, my IRA, my rollover IRA, and my HSA. So I combine them all into one Excel spreadsheet. Fear and greed, we're still at 27 on the fear factor. So still opportunities to buy. I personally did a small buy yesterday with future distributions. Just went out and said, it's a good day to buy. And again, members knew on Friday that I was buying on Monday. So hopefully this kind of tells you what I'm doing. The members are going to see how many shares I did buy, and I'm going to buy it probably in the next 2 to 3 days. I'm really turning to the thought process of doing all my purchases and buying and switching on Monday mornings, because why not? Just to have an easier day, just do it all on Mondays, red days, black days, green days, orange days, who cares? Do it on a Monday, make it an easy process. So I only have to spend, 30 minutes, an hour max actually managing my portfolio. It gives me more time to do research. So hopefully you like this video. Stay tuned, because I'm going to be doing more CLO videos, because I'm taking some of those funds from JAAA, and somebody asked, what is that? And I'll be doing a review on that in the next 24 to 36 hours. Anyway, until next time, God bless.